Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Lake Hot Rods. Today we're going to work, still working on the Vega, the Pro Street Vega here we got built in the Pro Street Vega we got in the shop. We're going to focus on the suspension is roughly done. We're just waiting on some more parts so that we can determine the ride height is where we want it. So we're going to move from that, and something that bugged me was the way this back bumper was just way out here in outer space. Seemed like it was miles from the car, so we're going to pull it in, and we'll go over that. Just some cosmetic stuff today. Got a little bit of body work to do on the passenger side on the quarter panel stretch, and then the body work will be done. I worked out the dent in the quarter and on the rocker, so we'll get a little primer on that and move on. And I'm not worried about paint yet. We've got a long ways to go before we can worry about painting the car, and we'll let the owner decide if that's what he wants to do. If not, we can blend the quarters and roll with it. But I'm pretty sure I see a paint job in the future. We're opening up a can of worms here really quick, just like every other project. But just got to stay focused and we'll get it done. So let's get to this bumper. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you guys coming back. So let's get to it. Well, we got some things done today. Mainly my goal was to get the rear end hung by itself. It's now hanging in the air, and well, I got a jack under it right now, but it will stay in the air on its own. Just so I wanted to get the shock mounts in place. I got the crossbar tacked in. It's all tacked in right now because I don't have the center chunk or the axles, and I want to make sure my ride height is where it's at. Right now I can still make some adjustments. I want to max out down, and that way I can bring it back up and adjust it that way. Well, I want to make sure my ride height's good. Still got some adjustment in the shocks. I had to go through and make a new bracket on the rear end here. So we got some new brackets here to copy the original inners because I had to split these out because these bars are a little wider, the joints are. So that left me with a piece that I cut off of here and ended up making another bracket. So now I've got 3 across the back, but much thinner on the inside, and it's just for a shock mount. So I wanted to get the shocks inboard of the frame rail so I have enough room for clearance, because it was getting really tight up against here. And obviously, if you mount the spring here, the shock here, it's going to be way too tall, and that would push the car, which in essence would raise the car up. And the whole idea is to slam this thing on the ground and make it look bitchin'. So that's out of the question. So I made new brackets, moved the shocks inboard as much as I could for clearance, keeping in mind that we may want to run an exhaust system up and over this rear end. So in between the 2 shocks is just enough room to put some pipes in there for the exhaust system. So you got to think ahead a little bit, and I'm trying my best to do that. Sometimes it's harder than you think, but I went ahead and welded in the front bar brackets. The frame is welded in completely, front and rear. Now notice I missed that little spot right there, but I'm really stoked. It's hanging in there on its own, and it looks great. Everything's fitting. It's moving without binding. Still got to put the crossbar here in place. It's not a big deal. That's got to be cut to fit. So once we get the suspension in place and know that I can still adjust it without clashing, and then we'll get that crossbar mounted in there, and we'll know where we can locate that. So that way I don't cut it too short. I want to cut once, or at least cut twice, but still be cutting length off of it. That way I'm not messing up. Bodywork wise, passenger side quarter panel still needs a little bit of work sanding wise. I found a little low spot there I wanted to fix. Driver's side primed and looking really good. Got the dent worked out of the quarter here on the front. Still got to work on the rocker panel and go from there. I was fiddling with the bumper. I want to pull it in and up to get rid of this gap here. I mean, this thing literally, I'm pulling the bumper in over 2 inches and up 1.5 inches. That just gives you an idea how much it sticks out. Thought about doing he's thinking about doing the conversion on the front end to bring it backdate it to like 71 or so. Just going to use what we got with the rear and thin the bumper up. And I'm not sure about that lower valence. It's plastic underneath here. and I'm not sure how much of that is going to be exposed. But we may need to do some work there as well. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the bumper up and in, and then see where that lands us. But for right now, I was just doing this because I kind of ran out of parts as far as the suspension goes. Everything is looking great. I'm really happy with it. All right, today we're going to try to, this week we're going to try to attempt to pull the bumper in and up. I've kind of done a little preliminary measuring and decided where I want to go with it. I got ahead of myself and busted apart the brackets here that hold the bumper to the body. They're essentially large leaf springs, so when the car, kind of like an absorber bump stop, I guess you call it, when the bumper gets hit, it kind of springs around, and that's why there was so much of a gap between the car. So I think those are my measurements here. 1.5 inches, I'm going to bring it up, and almost 1.7 inches, almost 2 inches going in towards the car, and we'll get rid of that little rubber strip in there. And I'm also probably going to cut the ends of the bumper off and suck them in, and then we'll reshape the bumper ends to flow to the body line of the car that's already cut out. They don't anywhere near match that, and they hang out in here, and they're bulky and ugly, and try to do something with them. They're solid aluminum, a chunk of aluminum here, and I feel like it'll be easy enough to cut it off and TIG it back together. And I can practice some aluminum welding too while I'm at it. So the shape on the end is going to be the difficult part, just to kind of keep the factory look. I think cutting it and bringing that in is going to be fairly simple, straightforward. The bar that we put in here for the rear frame, this piece here, is going to have to be drilled and tapped because the bumper hole goes right in the top of those. There's like 6 bolts that hold the bumper in place. So I have to drill and tap each bolt hole on the top and reutilize the bracketry here. And that'll give me something to start with. And I think what I'm going to do is just cut this right here and here, and then run a flat piece of steel across that and reutilize these holes, bringing them in and up. And I think that'll be good. All right, did a little quick. Found a piece of, they look like gas tank straps, old from an old project, and just cut the ends off and cut his section out to length, welded them in, and I'm gonna cut my line here and cut this face off, and then I'll section this piece out and we'll tack that to there, and that should give us a location for our bumper. Now this is a loose, location. I'm trying to see if this will work, and then we'll go. Right now I'm just kind of playing around with the bracketry and seeing what works. So let's get this cut off. We'll get them remounted. We'll kind of put the bumper up there and see what that does, and we'll get back. All right, I got the center section cut out for the bumper mount, and we'll go ahead and get this copied for the other one, and get it mounted on the car, and let's see what we can come up with. Well, she ain't gonna win a beauty contest, but when I get her ground down, all the welds cleaned up, it'll be just fine. Had version 2.0 here, and that allowed me to get a flat plate here on the front where the bumper actually mounts. My other one, I was gonna have an issue getting bolts and tighten everything up. It was just too tight, and the little step was causing an issue, so we scrapped that and started over. Still just using the center chunk here, this one. I'll get rid of that and we'll make a new one. We had to cut it a little shy, so we had to make an adapter here from another plate. No big deal, it's just a bumper bracket. So we'll clean it all up, like I said, and we'll get a little tack in there, get it nice and tidy. And it's under the bumper, big deal, it's strong. Uses the factory holes, and we just sucked it in to the car. And once we get that dialed in, then I'll make sure this way is dialed in, and then we'll start playing with the edges and pulling the corners of the bumper in a little bit. But getting it mounted first, we got to make the second bracket, and then we'll be on our way. All right, so we've been working on the bumper here, tightening it up. I cut the end of it off and probably cut over 1 inch out of the bumper to pull it in. Obviously, it's still got a little bit more shaping to do on the top corner there. And overall, my aluminum welding is getting better, but it's still poopy. So a lot of grinding to do there. And we're gonna move on to the passenger side. We're gonna go ahead and get that cut and moved in, and go from there. So we'll get them to match. Got my initial cut line, and we'll go ahead and get her sliced off and start working on that and get them to match. All right, so the way the bumper's hanging out here a little bit, I want to take and cut just this bottom section. I'm going to wedge it and then fold that in so it'll follow the body line a little better. Kind of sticks out here and it's about flush right there, so I want it to be the same from here down. It's bothering me. It doesn't necessarily need to be done, but I've shortened the bumper up, tucked it in, so I might as well finish off. Kind of looks half finished. So we'll get to grinding, get to flushing. We'll do the other side and do a little bit more welding here to finalize and get this fitting a little better, looking a little better, because you can't add body filler to that. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Harder than it looks. This bumper's thick, so I'm gonna have to probably put a wrench on it. See if that, try to hammer up the front here. Boy, a relief cut on the back side. It's hard to be mad with the results like that. I'm not proficient in aluminum welding, but I'm pretty dang happy with that. Obviously, I took a grinder to it, smoothed it all out. There's a few little spots here where I've got to add a little more fill just to keep this body or this bumper line going. I got a little too thin right here and ground down. A few little nicks here and a little cut where I got it with the grinding wheel. I mean, overall, shoot, that's pretty dang cool, and it fits the car really good. I got to do the other end. We'll put it back in place, and we'll see how it works. Eventually, probably, I don't see polishing it, but maybe like a brushed finish. Also, that'll help help the filler blend in better with the rest of the bumper. Because if you fill the aluminum with a different filler rod, you're going to get a different color. So we'll see what happens. We'll get there. All right, we got the bumper back on and refit. It looks really good. I'm happy with it. Going to probably come back through here, see where this little ridge is. Probably going to come back and just follow that along and bring the bumper up to the body better before I start modifying the car. I just think it'll look better. It kind of dips down, and no matter what you do, even if you modify the body, you're still going to have that dip. It's going to look weird in my opinion. So I'm going to bring this ridge out and kind of feather it in through here and all the way to the end of the bumper, and just kind of mimic that shape on both ends. But super stoked the way it came out. First time really, probably third time really welding some serious aluminum like that.
and it turned out really good. Probably come back and cap the ends where you can see that gap there. I'll probably cap that off so you can't see into that on both ends. And looking good. Got the gap pretty good there. Probably a little bit more tweaking on camera. It looks a little different when you get it on the car, but shoot, I'm happy with that. I'm going to sand the rest of the bumper and just get it looking uniform and progressively get it finer grit and get these scratches out of it and be moving along. So I got my piece fit and just used a scrap piece off the end of the bumper that I already cut off, shaped it, and I'm going to weld it, and I'll come back down the side there and just kind of grind it and shape it better. Kind of got an irregular shape in here, and may come back and just kind of grind it right through there. So anyway, I feel pretty good about that, and weld that up and do the other side. So we pulled the bumper back off, and I think what I want to do, I talked about it before, I'm going to continue this line down here and come all the way around the bumper front edge there and just kind of make it disappear down here. This little jog down doesn't make much sense, and it's kind of weird on the car too, and I don't think it's going to look good when I've cut the bumper. So we'll even that out, and also while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and cap this end because that part hangs out. This part needs to tuck in just a little bit more. I think I can get away with just slicing it into a little bit right in here and just pull it, and it'll line up back with the car and be pretty good. Backside as well is pretty decent. But like I said, we got that much thickness to build up here. I've got a little bit more material laying over here, and we'll probably just use part of the bumper that's cut off and thrown out, and we'll clean this up and come over here and add to it on both ends. So let's get the welder set up, and we'll see what I can do. All right, as you can see, we got a lot of work done on the bumper. I managed to get that bottom sucked in and tilted, and it matches the body line here real good. Went ahead and added some more pieces here and filled that in. I did run out of gas, so I haven't quite finished welding that up. No big deal. Get a good weld bead on there, and then I'll blend that in, and it'll kind of make it look like that. I need to add a little bit to the backside edge as well, just to make sure it's squared up and matches the rest of the bumper. We do have to get the passenger side caught up, but like I said, I ran out of gas, so I did what I had. The owner was really happy with the bumper. He liked it a lot, so that's good, because it'd be really hard to go back and undo that. So yeah, hopefully you won't have to worry about too much with this bottom panel, that plastic that goes along the bottom there. I may try to reinstall it, but there's much of a gap there like that now because I pulled the bumper up about 2.5 inches, so it's pretty much useless right now. So that's how it goes when you customize stuff. Maybe we can just make something on the corner and just kind of tie it in and roll it up just to fill that corner in, but I really don't know if he'd even be worried about it. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and that's a future me problem, and we'll figure it out. Thanks for watching Big Lake Hot Rods. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Try to be a little better on the social media side. My schedule is just, it's been a little crazy, so I haven't been able to get a video out, and that's just on me. It is what it is. But appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you next time.